Welcome back to the Beyond the Summit House here in lovely Southern California. We are here for Star Series I-League Season 2 in our third best-of-3 series of the day, which pits Evil Geniuses up against the relatively unknown team, CDEC Youth. Here I'm joined on the panel by Gods, Fogg, Merlini, I am Nahaz, and we're going to break down this series for you. This CDEC Youth team, guys, not to be underestimated. The last 2 weeks, they've taken series off of Vici Gaming, Tong Fu, and they 2-0'd a Digital Chaos team at Nanyang that destroyed earlier today. What are you guys looking for out of this series?
They're very much a wildcard team. I was about to say unpredictable, but their drafts, their picks aren't necessarily that unpredictable. But the way they play is they're going to beat a team like EG if EG aren't playing as a top-tier team.
Yeah, I agree. They although they're like erratic on the map, when they do take team fights, they're very like coordinated and stuff with their spell usage. That was one of the big things that imprinted me when I was watching Nanyang for this team. So I'm pretty excited to see how they're going to fare versus EG, especially because this is like their first real showing with their, I guess you could say, newish squad, even though it's from familiar former players that we know. And
CDEC Youth is not completely mainstream. I think they use like Naga core one game, which is not at all common dispatch. And of course, they do love the Drought Ranger. Yep. As does every other team.
It seems like everybody right now, pro and pub.
And their carry AIM has been like the big superstar of this team. He's been incredible. He's one of those guys who I look at, I'm like, after TI, he's likely being picked up by a top-tier team because of how good he reminds me. He reminds me a lot of Yang, like with where he was. Oh, sorry, not Yang. ZYF.
ZYF.
Yeah, ZYF. Where he was when he was playing on like these tier 2 teams, and then it's like, well, this is the next big star. He's going to get picked up. That's AIM is that good, I think.
I think same with like similar to Aggressive as well. I think Aggressive really stood out on the CDEC, and he got picked up by LGD. All the other members, where are they?
XC's right here.
They've been downgraded.
Yep. I don't know though. I mean, it's actually, when you look at their stats, it's actually kind of crazy. When you look at, they have one player that's played. He goes by Darkrai sometimes, I think. That's in the last 3 matches he's played offlane Batrider, mid Pudge, and carry Spectre. It's like they just don't. They flip their players around in different heroes to such an extent that I've not seen that in a lot of different teams.
That sounds very bizarre.
It is.
I didn't see those.
Carry Pudge.
Carry Pudge.
Mid Pudge.
Mid Pudge, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Mid Pudge.
Mid Pudge. Yeah. But we are going to take a look. We do have an interview for you. So we mentioned XZ, usually a support player, but has taken Mid Viper in a couple of occasions for this team. Is a veteran player, did play on CDEC. We're going to take a look at an interview with him right now.
这是我们 CDEC.Y 成立以来第一次出国的比赛，然后对于我们来说肯定是一次很宝贵的经验跟经历，也是比较难得的线下比赛的经验吧。然后我们是抱着来学习的态度，然后争取击败每一个外国强敌吧。我们其实有在最近的一次比赛中跟 DC 有过交手，然后我们击败了他们。我感觉世界一流强队，不管是国外的还是国内的，在技战术水平上都差不太多吧。只能说风格有一点小小的差别，但是其实 DOTA 这个游戏都差不多。然后我们打外国战队就跟其实跟打中国的强队，也没什么区别吧，只是打好自己的东西就行了。我们刚还在上面打了路人，然后今天是我们来的第1天嘛，所以说还在适应当中。EG 的话，对于我个人而言是一个老对手了，但是对于我们整个团队而言是第一次碰到国外的一线的强队这种感觉，然后我们肯定就抱着拼一把的态度，然后去打好明天的比赛吧。谢谢不管是国外还是国内的粉丝对我们的支持，然后希望自己在这次比赛中，自己队伍在这次比赛中打出 应有的水准吧，不丢人就行。
So CDEC Youth, as we're going to take a look here at them getting ready for this best-of-3 series, definitely coming in as the underdog here. But remember, guys, not so long ago, it was a Vici Gaming Reborn team that came into our last Star Ladder event with that combination of veteran play like FY, of a star young carry like ZYF, or End as he goes by now, and took, went really deep and ended up taking that event. So I think the CDEC Youth team could surprise.
Yep, they have 3 players who've played, 3 players who've played on LANs a few times. I want to say between Demons, Inflame, and XC. Right. Amy and Victoria seem to be the more newer faces. I'm not really too sure how many they've been to, but I know in China they've played a few. So it's going to be interesting to see how they adapt and how they play here, even though it is like a little bit of different of feel because it's not like your whole, I guess, like LAN type feel like a Star Series or something we are here. So maybe it feels a little bit different for them.
Inflame, like as kind of the pseudo captain, he reminds me a lot of someone like a Goblek who's great at finding new talent, putting on his team, and then they get really good and they get poached to other teams. He's always had this problem. Like he's always been on some really good teams and he builds them up, but then the LGDs come in and say, I want this guy, I'm going to take him away. But like this is the kind of team he's already showing has really proven a lot. They've done well in the qualifiers, even though they didn't make it to TI. So I expect big things from CDEC.Y.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really interesting to watch them, and it's just inevitable in a region like China right now that's really in search of young talent that you're going to see moves like that. But let's get on and talk about EG. This is a team obviously had some well-publicized struggles around Epicenter, and particularly in the Manila Major. Changed up their rosters, fought their way through the open qualifiers here in North America. Will be competing in Seattle in 2 weeks. What do you guys think of EG based on what we've seen so far? You think this team is ready to impress?
They're just right off the plane, you know, they have to be ready. They flew in this morning.
No, they didn't fly. They drove in.
No, Secret drove in. EG got a new flight this morning. They went straight from the airport here. It was like 2 in the afternoon, and suddenly Zai and Sumail woke up back, and they're like, we just came from the airport, ready to go. Whoa. We don't have our gear. We don't have our keyboards, mouses. Apparently they're coming later. We don't know. But they got to be ready, but this is it's not like a walk in the park, a team like CDC Youth. So we haven't seen much from EG. It was just the qualifiers where despite like a best of one loss here or there, overall is very convincing, I'd say.
Yeah, they ran like, I think people can look at it, and it's not a very good sample size, but they ran pretty much a Darkseer every single game, which I thought was kind of funny because looking at CDEC.Y's previous bans over the last like month or so, I think they banned Darkseer like 85% of the time. So it's like these guys heavily like to ban Darkseer, and they're playing versus a team which loves to play it. And EG also played a lot of Invis heroes recently, which was with the Darkseer. They're doing the Ricky Darkseer and the Bounty Hunter Darkseer a lot, especially in that qualifier stage. And this team also does like to play the Invis hero and ban them, so it's kind of an interesting matchup we have starting off for us here.
Yeah, and I always think when you're the underdog team like CDC Youth, you want to take away something that you want to force that top team to at least do something different than they've shown recently.
Yeah. So it's definitely a nice little approach, a nice little thing in their backhand that they do have coming in.
I don't know how well EG are adjusted to this current patch, though. From what I've heard and talking to other teams, that are like not too many teams actually want to scrim EG just because they don't really feel like they learned that much from EG because they're like very individually talented, but in terms of strategy, you can't actually pick up that much from them. They have a pretty unique playstyle, and you're not going to get something cool like the Riki Stealth Assassin or Riki plus Lifesteal that we saw prevalent last patch. So, and we saw them in the NA qualifiers, but it wasn't the stiffest competition there. So it might take them a little bit longer than other teams to get back to top 4.
Yeah, and the thing is, like everyone knows, the story with EG was always the lower bracket kings. Like someone like PPD could adapt from losses. So if you're a team going to TI, a top tier team especially, why scrim against EG? That's going to help them learn more than you learn from them regardless. Like it's EG and Secret who need the match play, who need to be versing your OGs, your newbies, your liquids. So if anything, those teams don't really benefit all that much. They're already playing amazing Dota, so why help someone else play amazing Dota?
EG have been playing a lot NEL, though, and they play against the OG guys a lot. So if anything, I think that their picks and playstyle might mimic OG more so than any other team that we've seen.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been playing a good amount with like, all those guys in NEL. I think I don't really want to say that Peter's been drafting too heavily in NEL. I think he's been kind of staying on the sidelines, but I do think that we will be seeing them get some influence from the other teams like Liquid and OG.
You brought up PPD, of course, household name in Dota 2 by now. TI champion as captain and drafter last year. We do have a quick interview with him that we're going to show to you right now.
So, hello, how are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. We just arrived. Flight came in this morning. Had some flight issues, but figured it out.
Yeah, your flight was cancelled because of the air company. What happened? How did you get here?
So we were supposed to fly last night. Flight got canceled, got pushed back, and eventually there was just no flight for us to take. So we went to a different airport in the morning and flew to a different airport here, and then we just drove for like an hour to get here.
So this was a very long adventure to get here.
Not really. It's still like only 2-3 hours, so it's not bad at all. Nothing to complain about.
Okay, tell me please, where did you practice with your team? Was it Europe or was it USA?
We boot camped at our team house in Alameda or San Francisco, just an hour flights from here. So we're going to do that as well before TI.
Yeah, and how do you feel about our tournament just before the TI? Do you see that like a practice before the international, or?
Yeah, it's definitely some really great practice. It's always good to have some officials before you go into such a big tournament, especially since we haven't played very many games with our new roster. We were supposed to go to Nanyang, but we had visa issues with Sumail, so that ended up falling through. So it's been really, we're really grateful that we had this opportunity to come out here and get some games in.
And your first game will be against a very young Asian team, CDEC.Y. What do you expect from this game? Do you know their maybe game style?
We watched some of their games and a couple replays and looked over their drafts, and they're playing very much like everyone else. A lot of meta stuff. They have a couple of unique flavors that we were trying to prepare for, but we're just going to try and stick to our own game and just play well.
Okay, thank you very much, and good luck today in further games.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so we're going to take a look at Evil Geniuses here setting up in their practice room. We might have a couple minutes delay here. I'm seeing in the lobby chat that there may be some issues with the client, but we will get the series underway here as soon as we can for you guys out there. And just let's talk about what we're looking for, guys, out of EG over this event, because I think EG and Secret obviously are the two teams that when the fans watching on Twitch and at home are going to be scrutinizing very heavily.
Yep.
I'm really curious as to how they're going to use Zai, because that was a real key for them. Obviously, last year at TI, using AUI on the farming here is using obviously the techies, but also his Lina, his Lion, was able to threaten a lot of areas of the map while getting his farm on. I think we've seen support play come to the fore really in this meta and at Manila. I think that's something that is going to be key for their development.
Yeah, I think it's really cool too, the difference between like how it is for EG. Like when AUI was playing for them, AUI has a certain playstyle where he pressures, but he pressures through the means of just like kind of like farming. He stays on the other side of the map and everything. While Zai, he pressures by he doesn't really pressure on the opposite side of the map. More so, he goes with his team and finds opportunities to be like at all the time. But he also always finds farm at the same time. So even though you'll see Zai maybe have like you look at like the CS board and it's like 30 creep kills when you used to look at AUI and AUI would have like 100, let's say. But Zai is just causing so much havoc on the map, which is it's really cool to see, and it's just such a different dynamic for this squad compared to the last.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. We were talking about that at the end of the last segment about the fact that, you know, farming right now, most times for most teams is going to be a secondary objective. It's something that you do on the way to getting other things done on the map rather than, hey, let's have our team fall back and farm for 10 minutes in the jungle. Zai really excels at that kind of playstyle.
Especially with some of the strats we're seeing, like the re-emergence of the Drow Ranger. You have to be ready to defend that first tower 10, 15 minutes in the game, or the game just snowballs out of control. So you can't really fit in that more farm-heavy four-position player. You have to be ready to fight, ready to have an impact on the game.
And Zai was one of he was one of the Ogre creators, right, back then? And now we saw an Ogre earlier. I want to see some Zai Ogre.
Oh,
first phase Ogre.
Still, though, the most impressive Ogre game I've ever seen. Universe had Ags on Ogre before the 12-minute mark. Oh my God, that was sick.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
As far as heroes, yeah, like super early Ags on Ogre's got to be one of the best.
Yeah.
Like a 12-minute Ags if you're level 11.
Don't know fool.
Goodbye.
Maybe we'll see him. He's going to change a bit. We saw him earlier.
The other big thing to talk about, I feel, is, of course, Fear, shifting back to that carry position where I felt like there were long stretches during Shanghai, for example, that Fear was their best player as a 4. Played wonderful Earth Spirit, excelled on a number of meta heroes at that time. He's going to go back to that carry role, and we know he's very stable, but how's that going to affect their drafts?
I don't think it will affect him too much. I think Fear is just so flexible that he will play any hero, any role. He'll do what it takes for this team to win. And it's not like and he'll also put in the hours to practice and grind and watch other people play the hero, the role that he's going to be on. So if anything, he's the one player as far as like how's he going to fit to the change who I have like the most confidence in right now.
I think it's much less about a hero and much more about the chemistry. I think he just fits the team a lot better than AUI, similar to how I think Universe fits his team a lot better than Bulba on the offlane. They just like know how to play better. You can see a marked difference. Like if there were no hero names, you could tell when they're playing with Fear versus AUI and Bulba versus Universe. It's just night and day.
What is it though about Universe's playstyle with this team? Because you look at last year, and there were long stretches of last year. There was an entire patch last year where Universe had the top KDA in an entire pro patch as an offlaner. That's never happened before. I mean, he was just absolutely sick. And then he goes to Secret, and it doesn't look like the same player. I mean, what makes Universe with this team?
The big thing there, like with that stat, is it's less that he's getting lots of kills; it's that he never dies.
He never dies. Exactly. And they're sacking him in lane too.
So the thing with Universe, he plays very conservatively. That's how he doesn't die. He doesn't give up deaths that other offlaners will like trade a death to get experience or farm in his lane. He'll always opt to play more conservative than aggressive. And the problem was with Secret is you had Envy and Arteezy want to farm, so Universe doesn't create space. He sits back and farms. Mid-game, late game, he makes big plays, he plays the initiators, he makes plays then he creates space. But early game, you need someone in your other core roles to be playing aggressive, creating chaos on the map. Zai brings that a bit on this team, as does Fear on the carry role. So I think they've got players who could do it, but with Secret, none of their other players could really create space effectively.
Well. So the other question for me going into TI are, when we saw last year when EG was winning DIC, winning TI, finishing second at the Frankfurt Major, that Sumail had these just signature heroes, right? His Storm Spirit, you look back, his Lina even, his Zeus. What do you look at right now as the Sumail signature hero? Is it the Timbersaw?
Probably, right? Timbersaw. Maybe we could see some
Storm. Maybe
Storm could come back.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of baiting here.
Small rise. I think even CDEC drafted Storm in Nanyang too, I believe. So the hero's starting to get like a rise out, and with Drow Ranger, like
Storm Drow
is very strong. It fits them. Like we were saying, Fear can pretty much play anything. He's very consistent. And Drow isn't one of those super intense heroes. It's just more so positioning. So
we're still seeing Invokers as well. I think that's always been a good hero for Sumail as well.
Storm Invoker, maybe
even Mirana.
TA, maybe Shadow Fiend.
Oh, he plays a lot of Mirana.
I love the Mirana.
Yeah. Mirana's a good one. Yeah, we have been seeing a huge rise out of like the Void Mirana pickups in a lot of the games, and now it does look like we will be having our draft start out. So.
Oh yeah.
As we mentioned, CDEC really likes to not play versus those Envies heroes, so first ban right away, the Ricky ban.
Yeah, we saw that in our last series as well, and just absolutely hard to argue with it. The biggest, I say over and over again, the biggest play of the Manila Major was Matumbaman creating vision with his Slark for that 5-man Mind Control Ravage. I mean, the extra vision that these heroes create, so valuable.
I think CDEC's biggest weakness is their mid matchup. I remember watching them at Nanyang, like, he just got pummeled in matchups that he shouldn't have.
Inflame, he's very much like Mikasa, is that mechanically doesn't shine. He's does a lot in the mid game. He's a great leader. You can see his movement around the map. He's leading his team, but he'll often lose his lane and lose his lane badly.
Yeah, really badly.
And that's actually a huge concern.
That's
that versus Sumail.
Go back to Shiki last year, right?
Yeah,
Sumail is actually like the best laning mid in the world, I would say.
Yeah, he's easily top 3.
Yeah. If he loses the lane, is he going to tweet out, "OMFG, I lost mid"?
He might. I mean, he might. Right? No, this isn't that big.
That was a signature move, wasn't it?
So this is something else that CDEC Youth has been doing. They ban out the Earth Spirit a lot of the time. I'm not sure if it's just because of in China the influence it has, but we actually haven't seen a decline, heavy decline on Earth Spirit. So
does I play Earth Spirit?
Bit of a change.
It's like it's hard. How do you ban against EG? You don't know what they play, I guess.
I guess you don't really know too much, but that's a bit of a curious one because we have even been seeing like the teams which favor Earth Spirit more than anyone else completely not even look at the hero. Like Liquid and OG haven't touched it in a couple games, even if it was left on the board.
Well, Darkseid's still in the pool, so talk about how EG been playing it almost all their games. CDEC Youth will have to give it up if they're not first picking it.
Both teams banning the Invis hero, and the Elder Titan still on the table. Teams that a hero that a lot of people look at. I really like the Elder Titan Mirana open for EG because they play the Mirana at multiple positions.
Yeah, they could do the Void Mirana as well. Something along the combination of these heroes.
Isn't Darkseid like not as big a deal now that Keeper is super popular? Like in his laning phase just gets like punished really heavily.
Hey man, maybe people are saving the Coddle though. We were kind of saying that at Summit.
Yeah.
The teams like picked Coddle like 3 times in a row, and then it was like no more Coddle. It's like everybody's just like, all right, this hero's good. Don't touch it, guys. Like we know what's up. But maybe, I mean, that's a really good point to bring up. I'm
still not the last thing I think Coddle has a lot of potential. I'm still not exactly sure about just how flexible he is in terms of where he fits into a draft. Because you can, in certain laning configurations, he really struggles to get anything done.
So now we get to see, do they decide if they want a Batrider counter, or do they just go with their own groove? Do we see like Avenger and Oracle, or do we just see them go for their own? So we see the Beastmaster Venge. Auras, this is pretty standard to see on the especially picked up by Dyer.
Yeah, and Nahaza asked a bit earlier, like, what do we want to see from EG? I think seeing a bit of diversity with their drafts and consistency. Like, Game 1, do a Beastmaster event. Then Game 2, go for an ET Mirana. Don't just stick, like, if anything, they should be trying a few different styles of drafts and openers and figuring out what works, because this is different to playing scrims. This is official match play. CDEC Youth have nothing. They're not playing at TI. They're going to be going all out in all these matches. So you should treat this as a really good warm-up match going to TI.
I mean, in that way, I think it's a really good opportunity for you as EG to play a team that clearly is not going against you with this scrim mentality. I mean, this is their Super Bowl.
Also, it could just be a response to the Batrider too. I mean, you have two heroes that can give. I mean, Venge, obviously the direct counter to the Batrider. Then kind of an indirect counter is the Vision from Beastmaster and the Vision from Venge can be very obnoxious for Batrider. And now this is kind of also a response pick, I would say, but also rise of the meta, Shadow Demon gaining more popularity versus the Beastmaster, obviously able to disrupt the target that gets focused on, and maybe even be prepping for later on building an illusion lineup. And we do see
and that's the instant Terrorblade van. Yeah, I kind of wanted to see CDEC Youth come back with the Winter Wyvern there potentially, but again, not every team is comfortable enough with that in enough different lineups to pick at first phase.
I don't think you need a first phase unless your first is a Drow Ranger.
Ooh, I don't know. The double aura open really makes me worried about a Wyvern pick.
I think you can always go like a plus armor too with like Dazzle too. There are other options.
That's fair.
We mentioned the Storm.
Dude, what about ET, man?
ET is untouched. Yeah, ET's untouched. ET's untouched.
That's absurd.
He'll probably get picked up next. He'll definitely get picked or banned in the third or fourth. That'd be very bizarre to not see it. No, it's not. No, it's gonna get ignored all tournament, right?
Now that
literally the whole tournament's gonna be
that, of course.
No.
Maybe he's getting the coddle treatment. Oh, we know he's good.
Yeah, we know he's good.
I don't know though. I see that. I feel like I see that a lot in teams watching scrims too. That if you have this great open that you've tried to go in a different direction, but the other team leaves both of those heroes on the table second phase, teams will often just turn around and say, "All right, you know what? If you're going to leave two heroes like that in the pool for me to pick."
Both big illusion carries banned out.
I was thinking about it when first saw the Terrorblade there, but there's still three. To me, there was three good ones to do with the SD: Terrorblade, Luna, and Morphling. And Morphling is actually one of their better carry heroes. So I think CDEC Youth is perfectly happy picking Morphling with the Shadow Demon, and Morphling's somewhat like immune to the Beastmaster gang to the extent that he can actually morph strength when he gets rawed. He loses his mana quickly, but it's not like a guaranteed kill compared to a Luna. If you get rawed as Luna, you're dead. You're out of the picture.
So you're on board the Morphling train?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not in this game. I'm not in this game because I think EG can run Lycan and just push him down like super easily, like with Lycan and then Roche, and then like you have like SD Batrider Morphling defend. It sounds awful, but I think I'm on the Morphling train. He's pretty decent.
We'll get some Inflame Quaswex Invoker to stop the push.
As long
as please no, please no.
It's actually one of his most played heroes, and he's really good after the laning phase.
Ben instantly is like, please no.
Oh my god, come on guys.
If they were scared of it, they would have banned it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can notice they haven't banned any Inflame heroes here. Okay.
Yeah. Ouch! Wow, Jesus, I feel like Winter's back on the couch here. The amount of flame that's already coming out.
Look, I gave him the praise with the flame earlier.
That's true.
So.
He's a good captain for sure.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, look, you go back to the fact that hey, Nono is not playing anymore. Mikaska is. I mean, the team play is what wins games right now.
Yep. EG taking the time. So,
there it is.
Like
I couldn't see
Elder
them
Titan has
leaving
to be.
that.
It's just now they have like tri-aura in a way, you could say, and massive amounts of team fights, and even more vision. So now they have three heroes that kind of play the vision game.
And they're just scary as hell early on in the game.
We talked about E-Team around the first two picks. They could third, fourth it if they want.
Exactly. No, that's what I was saying. That's exactly what I was saying. That you might have started out saying, hey, I want to go in a different direction, but if they're going to leave both of those heroes that you're super comfortable with on the table.
Jesus.
Thanks,
Winter.
He
seems good.
And no, I guess the other thing is whether, I guess with the ET, that means Beastmaster will be the offlane for Universe now, so that tips it a bit.
It also dissuades the Morphling pick.
Yeah, so okay, Winter's yelling it out, so I got to bring it up. I still feel like Winter Wyvern is really, really good here.
Two pretty defensive supports in a way, I guess you could look at it. Neither one can. I mean, I guess Shadow Demon can kind of move. The Shadow Demon Wyvern combination looks a little weird to me. For
they need more burst. They need burst for Batrider.
Yeah, they do.
Actually, maybe not so much because they have Venge.
Depends a bit on their course too, but if you get like a lion or something, you have plenty of burst. But
no, that is not what I thought we were going to see.
It's an old approach to the Beastmaster, right? People were doing the vision game like we were mentioning.
they really want the Batrider to shine.
Yeah.
I actually think I prefer the other approach. When you see Avenge with Batriders, like, okay, you're not all aiming on the Batrider. You build like drums on him, and you're just like super annoying with Firefly.
And there it is.
I mean, like we said, the Elder Titan Mirana. Oof. On point.
Yeah, I really. So, are you guys kind of? How sure are we that this is a 4-position Night Stalker?
I
Are we going to see something weird with Night Stalker mid here?
You could even see Batrider go mid against Mirana. You don't have any kill potential, but the hero does fine in mid. But
it kind of screws with her a little bit, right? Because the napalm turn rate slow messes with her ability to leap out. But
you give her like unlimited mana because of the napalm spam. If she gets magic stick, she can starfall for days. But
Slark.
I'm not sure about this as a Slark game.
With the Night Stalker, obviously with the Night Vision, can work really well and as a combo.
I think Slark struggles a lot versus Elder Titan, though.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly.
You just have your positioning is like extremely difficult in fights. It's like pretty good against Mirana because she can't leap out of the pounce, but like that's aside from that, I don't think Slark's like particularly great.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, one of the big benefits of all those Essence Shift stacks, that being the bonus armor from all the edgy, goes completely away.
Yeah, and all 4 heroes are not the easiest kills for Slark, honestly. Like even the support Venge and Elder Titan get to a point where they can be tanky enough to just be a nuisance for the Slark. However, they don't have the most straight up AoE to actually go through the Shadow Dance at least. But Elder Titan kind of makes up for that a lot.
And no synergy with Shadow Demon. Like you don't really want to send in Slark illusions at all.
Okay, so EG looking for Fear's hero here, presumably with their 5th pick, while CDEC.Y probably looking at a mid. Any calls here, guys?
Inflame Invoker.
Oh boy.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, as far as heroes they go towards, I think Inflame and Invoker is definitely one. If not that, maybe a Dragon Knight.
I think Death Prophet. Maybe.
I think they need some. I feel like they need some damage on CDEC.Y. Like looking at their lineup, if the Slark doesn't like go out of control in the early game and get a really early like Shadow Blade or something, all 4 of those heroes like they don't really deal damage. Like they have to be really in their face and get multiple different instances of spells off. The Slark is going to be the only one really weaving in and out of the fight doing damage. So I think
EG recognized that they banned Timber. Like it shows damage.
I think an inflame damage.
Zeus. Bring back Zeus.
You got so many.
I'm down with Zeus.
I don't know. EG can build pipe here so easily.
Yeah, there's so many items that counter Zeus.
Doesn't really solve your tower hitting problem that CDEC.Y has too.
Yeah,
Death Prophet. Death Prophet's
Death Prophet.
Okay, right?
Yeah. I'm down with CP here.
It's been nerfed a lot, and people are not really looking at it too much, but...
The numbers weren't that large, though, in the nerf.
Yeah, that's the thing. She's been nerfed twice.
Okay, so...
Okay.
I like that, though. They recognize that they needed a hero that can push. This guy doesn't get affected at all.
And there's the Lycan we talked about earlier. This draft is so in EG's comfort zone.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like this is what CDC did last TI, going to Dragon Knight when you know you're at a mid lane disadvantage, but I still think EG are going to get a lot out of the early game.
Yep, I agree. I like EG's draft and what they can do with it. They've got all the strong meta heroes kind of, and it should be a good game for them.
All right. Fogged, what do you think? Final thoughts, guys?
I mean, I like EG's draft. I don't think CDEC, the DK pick solves everything that they were lacking after the first 4 picks.
I like EG's draft a lot more. Can we all do an imitation of Winter's Elder Titan?
Elder Titan.
Elder Titan.
Wow.
He was just yelling in the background. He's like, Winter Wyvern.
Well, and with that, we have brought in Maut here as our last-minute sub. He's going to be doing play-by-play with Fogged. Guys, this looks like a fun game, fun series. Take it away.
Thanks, Nahaz. We are here on the other couch, right across from Ben as well as Nahaz. We're here with EG versus CDEC.Y. I'm Maut. He's Fogged. How are you, man? We haven't casted in a while. It's been a little bit. We've been hanging out, but
haven't seen you in ages.
Yeah, right. We haven't spent too much time with each other, but we're here. We're watching a pretty good game. This is obviously EG's first, probably true test, I think, especially their first LAN going into TI6. So
yes.
I think that's the biggest storyline here, Fogged, as we jump into the game.
Yeah, absolutely. That and it's them trying out more of like a difference. It's a big difference on what they've been playing versus and what they've been playing with. The draft is completely different because in NA they pretty much got everything they wanted every single time and just I would say kind of like ran the floor with everybody except for like Complexity took 1 game off of them. So this is like you were saying a testing ground for EG to show their actual strength with their quote unquote new roster.
Yeah, I mean, EG, like you said, they ran through the qualifiers, not even having really any issues whatsoever, of course, making it through that top spot. To TI6, CDEC.Y, of course, a team that had a pretty good run at Nanyang, of course, but we'll see how they play up against this EG squad. EG, one player removed from that TI5 winning roster, so we'll have to wait and see how they perform up together. CDEC.Y will move towards that top rune spot, look to secure it together as a 4-man group, and it looks like that's where EG's heading as well at the time being. Zai's up in front. You can see Sumail maybe ready to hit up an arrow as well. So try to just contest up this top rune spot, and might be some action here. Here we go. The Astral will come out, get some vision. You can see Demon walking up, getting one stack of Sticky. There's that Shadow Poison starting to stack up as well, where the Magic Missile will hit up into Demon, now getting caught at it as well. Looking at the right-click damage, there's plenty of it there. The Breathe Fire coming through, and Zai will get the first blood, still taking some damage of his own. The Shadow Poison finally bringing him down on the other side. Almost a body block from Universe. The Boar Slow might not be enough. He's too tanky, that DK, especially early on into the game. Very hard to bring him down. Fear chasing after XZ, but I don't see him getting this kill.
Oh, he's getting the poison stacks up.
Yeah, he's got 3 now, but this is level 1 poison, so it's going to do a fair bit of damage. 4 now, maybe 5 would, I think, bring him down close to death. Yeah, wow, it actually kills him.
Just enough damage.
Level 1, I guess, with 5 stacks is more than enough, I suppose. That's insane.
I think he had like 1 less health than what I think it did 245 and he had like 244 or something.
Yeah.
That was super unfortunate for Fear, but very good for CDEC. That's more than what they wanted. This is kind of like a pseudo tri-lane that it transitioned to after that heavy rune engagement. And
so EG got first blood, but then CDEC.Y got 2 kills. I wonder who got the bounties, actually. I didn't quite see. Looks like it was split between the two of them. Sumail got the 1 top rune, and then the other one was taken by CDEC.Y bottom. Okay, so talking about this laning phase, obviously I think both of these heroes have kind of a small amount of base damage, but Sumail won't be able to really do that much damage to the DK through right clicks because of Dragon Blood. But Starstorm, maybe he can harass, maybe he can have a rotation, get some help through an arrow or something like that against the DK.
Yeah, he can mess with the equilibrium of the creep wave a lot better. And if he just straight up right clicks in Flame, he got the bounty rune on Sumail, so he's going to be able to get his bottle much earlier. And if there's a rotation at all, he's going to have Inflame pretty low. So this should be a pretty easy lane for Sumail here, though.
Breathe Fire will go. So right now, looking at the way the lanes are setting up, you can see Fear is rotated down to the bottom lane. He's going to get some help with the Vengeful Spirit, but they've put Elder Titan in the top lane so far alone. And then it's the classic good old Beastmaster jungle with Iron Talon. It's the new hot thing. Everyone's doing it. It looks like there will be a roaming Night Stalker to contest in the jungle just to make sure that he can actually keep tabs on that Beastmaster. But we'll see how things go. Sumail and Inflame both low in the mid lane. No mana for the DK for Breathe Fire. And just a good start. I mean, Universe is going to have a great time unless the Night Stalker can really find him.
Yeah, Fear TP'd bottom after dying, guess thinking that they were running like some type of aggro tri-lane, and he was right, but he wasn't able to get anything down in that bottom lane, and then waits there for about 45 seconds and ports back to that top lane. So, bit of wasted time by him. Sumail being extremely aggressive here.
Yeah, does he have arrow? He does. Leaps forward and he gets it. He gets the kill. Might die to the tower, though. Can't get off the aggro. There's no creeps there. He bought out before dying, like you mentioned. Big play from him. He still gets that kill, which is really important, but he does end up going down at the very least for CDEC.
And Night Stalker gets the experience and gold for it, so very good pickup there by him.
Yeah, for Night Stalker, I think the most important thing is at first night, getting level 2, maybe Hunter of the Night, or level 1, and then maybe a point in that silence is very important. PPD trying to TP out and will get away. XE not there in time to get off the disruption to stop him from doing so. And so he was just trying to leech experience bottom, was pretty successful in doing so. Meanwhile, top lane, Bat Rider with 11 last hit. CDEC.Y actually having a pretty good time when it comes to last hitting across the board right now, Fogged.
Yeah, and I think that maybe Sumail is just going a little bit too aggro, missing some CS here and there because of the way the Dragon Knight's doing, but he did get the kill, which is great for him. So either way, it looks like it's being beneficial for him, but maybe hassling his CS just a little bit.
If he gets another kill, I'm sure he's probably way okay with the way this lane is going. But right now, he's just like jumping and he's shooting arrows. No Starstorm yet, but Inflame, this is not an easy lane for him. He's just taking so much damage, even from Arana and her Wet Noodle right clicks. But here comes the wraparound from PPD.
Yeah, this should be a nice free kill here. They do even have the Elder Titan here. Yeah. This should definitely be in
level 2 Stomp as well, so they're going to hit up the Starstorm first. Magic Missile will go. Stomp will fall up next, so he actually gets it close and gets the physical damage. They get the disruption off, but I'm not sure how much that'll be able to save him. He's already in a bad spot. Good Breathe Fire, but Sumail will get the last right click to do the job. It looks like there is 2 stacks of poison on a Vengeful Spirit. Should be okay with 150. I think it's still level 1. Might be able to deny himself. Victoria coming in, but gets the last right click. and we'll be able to secure that at the very least, getting a trade off. But again, it is Inflame going down in that mid lane.
Sumail accidentally arrowing the catapult that was right in front of him, so he wasn't able to land the combo there to take out Inflame. But they still get the kill.
He secures the catapults, yes, it's fine.
Yeah, at the cost of PPD, worth, right?
Yeah, I think so. Victoria coming is going to find Zai. Still being aggressive, and now it is that first night. The stomp will come through and it will hit. Universe will rotate out of the jungle. Not level 6 yet, but he does have level 3 Boar, level 2 Inner Beast. There comes an Astral as well. Doesn't have the mana for a stomp. Sumail has an arrow, looking for the leap, shooting it off, but he can't quite get it. Wide to the right as Victoria will dodge it and head back up to his own high ground.
Yep, big skirmishes going on in this mid lane. First nighttime coming around, like you said, though, so we'll see what the Night Stalker tries to do with it. Let's see if we do make a rotation with the Shadow Demon. Looks like they are trying to opt to do that. Meanwhile, PPD is actually literally just mooching XP in that offlane as a Vengeful Spirit, just chilling.
That's good. And here's that smoke that we were talking about. 600 gold for the Night Stalker as Boots of Speed. They have one left, as you can see, and they're going to make use of this first point 100 of the night. They also have the Shadow Demon with them. Nearby a sentry, no Observer wards or anything. They haven't been spotted out yet. And of course, Fear is struggling, I think, pretty heavily. He's actually caught up rather well, sitting at 20 CS now, but you talked about it. He TP'd down bottom, TP'd back up top. He's been all over the place, and a kill here would be pretty detrimental to his laning ability. So it looks like he actually will be, he'll be fine. He's going to be under the tower now. It was pushed in when they decided to smoke up.
Yeah, CDEC.Y has to be pretty happy with how this is all going on right now, though. The 3 lanes that they have are farming heavily, and they're also forcing rotations out of EG. The only thing is that they have to be ready for this Beastmaster, the first Beastmaster movement. They know he's 6 now, and they just have to keep awareness of where he's going to make that first roar.
If you're Universe, where do you go? Are you worried about that Slark down bottom? Is he killable in this situation, or do you try to find an easier kill, maybe mid or top?
Probably just mid or top. The Slark kill is pretty unlikely unless you have some mispositioning by him. He has to be overextending somehow.
Well, that ward will scout out the fact that Universe is nearby. Demons, Victoria, as well as Inflame are all kind of, they're just walking around the river. They're not really deciding where to go. Couldn't make a decision as to go to top, try to find something mid. Demons is going to go ahead and take a stack, though, with his Sticky Napalm and Firefly, up to 1,000 gold. No Tranquils picked up, but he does have a bottle, so he's getting kind of close to his Blink Dagger. And meanwhile, Zai will just zone him out with an Astral.
Who gets the last hit, too, with the Astral Spirit there. So
it's actually pretty hard. That level 1 Astral does, like, no damage when it walks over anything.
Yeah, super fortunate.
It's kind of nuts. And what else is going on? Sumail sitting at 27 CS. So you're right, his CS is suffering, but he was involved in 2 kills. In fact, he has 2 kills and an assist from the First Blood already to his name. So that's the trade-off there, is that maybe he's down in CS, but he's doing well in terms of just straight-up kills and assists.
Yeah, and it looks like EG's just going for some out efficiency right now. Just trying to still keep farming for a bit before Universe wants to make that first move. Just trying to get more levels on everybody. I mean, why not? PPD is mooching XP in the offlane pretty freely. Level 6 at 7 minutes. He's very happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, like, PPD is used to being super underleveled and underfarmed at pretty late stages of the game, and so far it's not looking like that's going to be the case. He's actually gotten 7 CS to his name too, which is pretty incredible for somebody like the 6th position of PPD. So
yeah, you kind of want CDEC.Y to be making a little bit more of the moves here, trying to force something a bit harder with nighttime being almost over. But now this is the point where EG finds their timing window. 8 minutes, nighttime's about to end. They want to use that roar with the stomp, and they want to take a tower. They have Lycan. Ideally, you want to have a tower, but pre-10 minutes when you have a Lycan on your team.
And as you mentioned, it'll be towards that top lane. It could have been towards middle to look for Inflame, but instead, XZ the more likely target. The Wolves will shadow him, get some vision. Disruption comes out. Nice self-disruption, but it'll set up for the stomp first and foremost. And I don't even think they need the roar. I'm not sure if they used it in the end. It looks like he actually saved the roar. He'll still take some tower damage in the end, but nonetheless, they get the kill. They're going to start pushing into the tower now, but they do have to defend bottom, as this Slark is going to work on this tier when Towers of the Glyph comes out.
Yeah, that Shadow Demon, you'd think, like, wow, that was a nice disruption play by the Shadow Demon, but you actually end up just kind of messing with your team a little bit more because they actually use no spells instead and just get a kill in a tower for no trade. So now we do see we do actually see the full rotations coming out.
Dark Pact already used. He's got Shadow Dance. He'll use it. Stomp ready to go. Fear in trouble, leashed up. Not actually with Shapeshift ready to go. He has 8 stick charges. He's also got a Tango if need be. Flame Break will push him, do some decent nuke damage. It'll bring him low, but not low enough. Void onto the board. They wanted more than that. They defend the Tier 1 tower. In fact, both teams defend the Tier 1 tower with just TP rotations. And so far, nothing coming of it. It is now daytime, so this Night Stalker, not super useful for another couple of minutes.
Interesting approach, though. They really don't want to lose that Tier 1 versus the Lycan. They even moved the Slark. I thought they would just let the tower drop down there just as a trade to let the Slark get movement, like more time to farm in the jungle while that tower goes down. But they rotate 3 heroes and don't even get a kill out of there. I have to give that win to EG there for that top tower, even though they didn't get it.
And they're still pushing down and actually trying to put some pressure on this bottom tier 1 tower as Universe is starting to get close to his first Necro book with that Staff of Wizard he picked up. And, of course, the best item in the game, the Infused Raindrop. So.
Yep. It actually is the best item in the game now.
Winter is a huge fan of Windlace, and we always talk about it. And I just got to give it to Infused Raindrop instead.
I mean, I'm all on board with that. I think if you have an inventory slot open, you should always have either a Raindrop or a Windlace in there, like no matter what.
One of the two, but I will say I prefer Raindrop better.
Why not both?
Why not both, indeed? I mean,
Zai just bought both, so Zai knows what's up.
That's the life of a support if you have room for it. Universe is going to scout out. He's just sitting Roche right now. I wonder if they could take early Roche. I don't think they have. I mean, if they have a Medallion, perhaps, but Wave of Tear, I guess you can as well. I'm not sure. And with Lycan and Vlad's, then more than likely, yes. But again, they will get the roar off onto the Bat Rider. Here comes the Alba Dragon Form. They hit the arrow as well, so it should be a long duration stun. But now Universe in trouble. The Dragon Tail will come out. Here comes the Slark. Dark Pack first. He's got his pounce ready to go in Universe. They get the Moonlight Shadow, the Starstorm. More than enough damage for Sumail. He's going to try to TP out. There's going to be the Dark Pack. Finally, they get the disruption just in time from XZ. He's still in trouble. Gets swapped out by, I believe, the Vengeful Spirit. And PPD will give up his life for that 1-for-1 exchange. So the Bat Rider goes down for PPD as they were all congregating around that Roche pit. And eventually, it is just going to be that trade in the end.
I like the way CDEC.Y's responding, though. Like, when the top tower was dying, they responded with 3 TPs to defend it. Even though it may not have been too optimal for them, they make their decision and they do it. There again, they bring 3 or 4 heroes into the river, and they're doing a really good job of just outnumbering EG in a lot of these situations. EG, though, during that movement and during that engagement stuff, they did get some aggressive wards down, so they do have some vision of the Slark moving in and out jungling here.
They have that obvious ward over towards the Ancient Stack on the Radiant side. They have the ward towards this Tier 1 tower in the bottom lane, so they have some good vision. Okay. All right. And,
yeah, just take some hits from the boar. He's all right. And we did see an Iron Talon picked up on the Slark, by the way.
That's interesting. I wonder if he started out with that. I don't think he did. I mean, I think he picked it up a little bit later. That's just...
Yeah, he picked it up a bit later.
I guess it's just for faster jungling, but it just seems like it's not that expensive of, you know, a stop-off for an item, but it just seems interesting. You could already farm fast enough as it is with Dark Pack, so...
I can see how it is. If you're like straight up jungling and you're leaving your lane to your one of your supports or something, like I can see it can accelerate you, obviously. Like it's the best item in the jungle. You can't. I don't know.
Maybe he doesn't want to Midas. He doesn't want to spend that investment for an item like that. You go for an Iron Talon, it's a bit easier to farm, and he'll just look to at least pull the creep wave off that tower. The Lycan Wolves again doing a pretty good job of scouting so far. Fear will pop the shapeshift, and I think he was looking.
Got him
they got the arrow. Yeah, they're going to go for him. He does have Shadow Dance, the pounce away, and they get it off in time. He also has Dark Pact. I don't think they can chase him down any further. Even though they had Roar, they just weren't in range, but they will still be able to get this tower. That's the trade. There is no real trade. It's just EG coming out ahead there. Now you can see the Elder Dragon form pop mid. Zai will get stunned up. Now in trouble. The Soul Catcher will come out. He still has those raindrops, which will save him, but the Firefly comes in from Demons. More than enough damage to kill him. Sumail is actually silenced, but there's the Roar and Victoria. Universe still in trouble, though. Getting caught, slowed up. They will get swapped back on Sumail. And this Firefly doing a ton of work coming up for the Bat Rider, and Sumail still purged up and slowed. Finally about to get brought down. Moonlight Shadow will not save him. Demons gets a double kill, and they will get themselves 3 kills and a Tier 1 tower on top of that, Fogged.
Again, like I was mentioning, I really like the way that they're doing their movements on the map. They moved multiple heroes bottom. They recognized relatively early that they couldn't do anything about it. They let the tower drop, and instantly they make a 3 or 4 man rotation to the mid lane. EG, port 1 or 2 heroes in, but there's no way you're going to make it there in time when you're just trying to be that efficient by just walking there and then TPing there, while CDEC.Y, literally all 4 heroes just walk there. So when you're arriving at multiple different scenarios for EG and you're running into 4 heroes that are already there, there's no way you win that engagement when they have all their ultimates up.
It's so much control from CDEC as well. You have Dragon Tail, Void, you have obviously Lasso if he had it up. I believe he used it in that engagement. You have obviously the Purge coming out from the Shadow Demon. There's so much at their disposal in order to actually be able to control EG and stop them from moving around. And really, it's kind of up to PPD to just find that one swap target and to save his allies. And even if he used the swap there, it didn't do anything. And Zai also has to be really critical with the stomps as well. I just feel like it's very easy for EG to make mistakes here and to give up a lot of kills to CDEC, as we just saw in that last engagement.
Yeah, EG needs to chill out throughout this next night time, just not let anyone really get picked off, just stay kind of together in a way, and they need to go for towers here. I think it's really important for them to get another Tier 1.
Armlet has been picked up for the DK, the first big item for their squad. It looks like he's going to be the one on the front lines pushing down towers. I don't think they have anything else. They did pick up a Blink Dagger for the Bat Rider. This should be the Blink reveal. I don't believe he had it in the last fight. So Demons, as well as Inflame and Victoria, looking to smoke up together and try to find a target. Sumail will be a particularly good one. Universe, Fear, PPD, and Zaya all around him, though. All 5 of EG situated in such a way that they can push this Tier 1 tower and be pretty safe about it. Sumail is pretty far up at this point. You can see the Bat Rider coming over, looking for that Blink. They have Swap ready if he goes for a lasso. That isn't the Vengeful Spirit. They're going to jump in. They have the Shadow Blade coming in. They find that lasso. Fear in trouble. Arrow's going to be off the mark from Sumail. And now here comes the Slark on the back line, looking for that pounce as well as the Dark Pact. Fear's still in trouble. They will get the Dragon Tail off. Here comes the Earth Splitter doing some work. Only onto Victoria, though. That's it now. Starstorm, just not enough damage at this point in time. They'll back up. They can heal up with Ames, of course, just doing his Shadow Dance passive. And that's it. And Fear, he does get out, but he does take a lot of damage. And they get the Tier 1 tower, but that's a lot scarier than maybe it needed to be for EG.
That's such an odd situation to happen, though. EG's setting up his 5 heroes to push that top tower. They get the tower. CDEC responds with all 5 heroes, and nobody dies. Just very bizarre engagement that you don't really see happen too often.
Awkward.
So a little bit of a benefit there to EG, just forcing all the rotations from CDEC, but not a huge one.
So the Shadow Blade is up for the Slark now. He's started to get out of control. No big spree just yet. He hasn't been killing that many people. But at what point are you kind of worried about the Slark? And really, what do you do? Do you just hope that he makes a mistake? Do you try to smoke up and find Aurora into Arrow? Like, how do you deal with the Slark at this point in the game?
Right now, you kind of hope that he makes a mistake, catch him out doing his own thing. Other than that, later on, you're just going to be depending kind of on your ET spirit. You're going to be hoping that it really just brings him down from that powerhouse carry that he is.
Natural Order still not really leveled up just yet. At this point in the game, it's a little too early for Zai. Inflame will just go ahead and do that typical Tier 1 tower trade for Roche. I don't think CDEC.Y will give this away, though, as the Moonlight Shadow comes out. The Slark had already gotten vision, and Inflame does take that tower down. Now 1,000 gold with the armlet. And looks like EG are going to go back into the Roche pit. Only half HP right now. Even with Wave of Tear, they're not taking it that quickly. They're going to have to abandon this Roche attempt for the time being. And with Firefly up for the Bat Rider, they don't want to go into that pit right now.
Yeah, EG just seems a bit indecisive right now. They popped the book, they popped everything they needed to there, and they still couldn't take it. CDEC a bit too quick on their response. They even claim a tower out of it, so small gain there for CDEC, but little things are starting to add up.
They're getting their items. They're successfully contesting Roche at the very least. Sumail's starting to get towards that Aghanim Scepter, which is a massive increase in terms of his farm speed as well as his damage output later on down the road. They do want to defend their Tier 1 tower. I don't believe it's in deny range right now, but here we go. CDEC.Y looking to wrap around from the side. Demons is still there with his Firefly up, but it's his Blink Dagger getting canceled, obviously, with the Astral coming through and doing some damage. They'll drop the ward down. They have the Wolves scouting things out, and the Courier will deliver an item. It's an Ogre Club going to aim, so of course he's going to be picking up that Echo Saber more than likely. And they're just hunting, trying to find anybody, and it might be XZ that's the target. Roar, not quite in range. They have to hit a stomp if I think they want to get this kill. And it's pretty close to that Tier 2 tower. This is a bit dangerous for EG, but they are being aggressive here during the daytime.
Yeah, CDEC.Y just knew that EG was all there. Even though they didn't have vision of them right by that Ancient camp, the top lane is completely pushed in for the past minute, just about, onto EG's side. The mid lane as well, you saw Inflame walk over there and start pushing it, so they had all the information on the map. They know where EG's positioning is there, so there's no way that any of them should die when they're retreating there. But EG buys enough time for themselves, they reset, they go into that Roche pit,
they're going to get the claim it. Yeah, this is going to be an Aegis for Fear. And that's the reason why they're not TPing out. They know that if they leave this Roche area, then more than likely they just give it up to CDEC at this point. And
exactly.
They can't afford that. Fear is going to get caught out. Shapeshift will go, but the Pounce, Dark Pact, Breathe Fire, he is going to fall. That's his Aegis. He's no longer shapeshifted. They will get off the disruption. Earth Splitter only onto Inflame. Demons looking for a lasso, can't find it. Swap out. Everyone pretty low from CDEC so far. They get off the Wave of Terror onto 2. Nobody dying just yet. Universe already using... No, he still has that Roar ready to go, and they're going to get it onto Inflame. He's out of mana. He has a regen, will not be able to pop it off, and the Armlet Tiger will not be there. So it's going to be 1-for-nothing exchange. Well, 1 for Aegis, I suppose. But even so, EG come out ahead by getting a massive kill on the second highest net worth hero.
Yeah, EG, the way they take these fights is so interesting. They spread themselves out, and they're patient, super patient with the way they take the engagement. They don't rush anything. Beautiful disruption by the Shadow Demon there. Pretty sure it actually saved the Slark's life because he was about to get comboed up by everybody. But yeah, just EG recognizing what they need to do in the fight, and with the Aegis advantage, they were able to take it. claim their third tier 1 of the game, and it's starting to look like it's going into their favor just a little bit.
Necro's all over the place. Necro 2 for Universe, Necro 1 for Fear, so they're putting some emphasis on A, mana burn, and B, of course, being able to push and clear out waves as well as towers.
That's a cool approach that they can do that can help a bit versus Slark for quite some time. Just burn all of his mana down. You can't really do much when you're getting whomped down by multiple books as a Slark until you get your BKB up and you're able to clear them out.
Is mana burn, I can't remember, percentage based or is it just flat rate, I think?
It's a flat number when you have your book.
So I think maybe when later on down the road Slark can get a Scotty and that mana issue might not be as big of a problem, but for now...
Yeah, for now, it's a temporary solution that can be pretty obnoxious for quite a while because even your BKB can help, but then the next timing is like your Scotty and your BKB starts ticking down and it can just still be annoying. Killing books is really annoying, and it's a really cool approach that EG's going for the double book this game.
I mean, just like it in general with Necro books is often, it's just a very good combination of items and heroes, so... We'll see how it plays out for EG.
It could even be that EG might feel, I don't think like 100%, but might feel like on a slight timing window, just having 2 books up. They were playing versus a Slark and a Dragon Knight and a Night Stalker. They don't really have, I mean, Lycan scales pretty well, but you're playing versus Slark, you don't have a direct counter to him besides the Elder Titan, so it can be a little bit scary, but the double book approach is something that we used to see happen a lot, quite often. It just makes it easy to take fights, it makes it easy to assert your map control.
And like, Sumail is scaling, and he's going to be able to scale pretty well in the late game, but it's more of a caster kind of, he's more of a casting type of hero on this point. He's not really right-clicking. His right-click is okay at this point, but he's not building it up with, say, a Diffusal Blade or a Mantis Tower. They're old right-clicking type of Mirana items. He's going to go for the Aghanim, so probably go for Shiva's Guard later at some point in time.
Yeah, the Blink, Shivas, Lincoln's Mirana build that we've been seeing happening.
It's pretty successful, I think. I actually really like that Mirana build. It does a lot of damage, but I think it's countered pretty heavily by BKBs. Disruption, you're going to send some illusions from the DK, who is now level 12, so he has his level 2 Elder Dragon form, the Red Dragon. Splash damage and Corrosive Breath going to work on the tower. The Glyph will come out. We'll see. They hit an arrow onto Inflame, actually. The Wave of Terror is going to come through. The Earth Splitter. There's going to be the Starstorm, and he's low. He's got that regen where the Armlet Toggle will save his life. The Roar, instead, they're going to turn their attention toward Victoria, and they will be able to bring him down in the end. Still, they have the Shapeshifted Lycan looking for Inflame, but no way to stop that TP. They had no vision over there. And again, it is a 1-for-0 trade. And they keep that tower alive, and I'm sure at this point it has to be in deny range.
Yeah, I think it was when they were hitting it originally. So yeah, 87 HP in the deny range, as you were mentioning. I want to see how EG also uses their methods of scouting. We were mentioning a lot during the draft about the vision game, but now even we didn't get to talk about it when they picked the Lycan. They have now the Hawk, the Wolves, they just have like so many different like vision aspects that they can use to their advantage this game of just watching the movement from CDEC.Y. So we have to just keep an eye on how they're going to do that.
And until that Aghanim Scepter comes out for the Night Stalker, their vision advantage is going to be negligible at best. It's not going to be able to, they're not going to be able to find too much in terms of wards, in terms of map control. But here comes the Slark in the backside. They have a Sentry. Pounce is going to hit up on Fear again. They should have swap, and they will use it. PPD immediately uses the Magic Missile, but it's BKB'd up. But look at the damage he's taking. The Shadow Dance will save him for now. PPD having to run, but will go down to the Dark Pact. Stomp is there, but again, that BKB, 10-second duration. Arrow will hit on Victoria, who's just standing still. The Disruption will come through. The Wolves are ready to bring him down, and the Starstorm is there as well. Lasso is up. Sumail might be in trouble. Does he have lead? Yes, absolutely. The Pounce not in time coming out from aim. And Sumail will be able to stick up and back away with the rest of his squad. Now with no Lasso left in, of course the Firefly about to go down for Demon. They have to be careful and back away. Already TPing up to the top lane is Fear, but that's the end of the engagement. And another successful 1-for-1 for EG.
Yep, force the reaction. Almost, they get some decent damage on the tower, and they only lose PPD. So Sacrificial Lamb used properly. Everything going in the way that, or in the favor that EG wants for now.
And not shockingly, PPD is the last in net worth, so, I mean, him dying is whatever at this point. I mean, yeah, you'd like to save his life if you can, but, I mean, that's the entire point of his hero. You swap out, keep somebody alive, and just make sure that you can disengage successfully.
The Night Stalker in majority of these engagements, though, keeps dying, like, pretty much first, so he's not really transitioning too well. He's level 8, while the Shadow Demon is actually level 11, and he's having much more of an impact. You can just see from his disruptions, he's saved multiple teammates already. And the Night Stalker, on the other hand, like you mentioned, he was walking up, he caught an Echo Stomp, and then he gets arrowed and just taken out. And it seems like that's kind of been happening to him a few times.
I mean, it's a Blink Dagger, this Shadow Demon does, for God's sakes.
Yeah, he's
pretty farmed.
Having pretty good start. Even the Night Stalker is not, like, broke, but he's not farmed by any means either.
You'd like to have maybe 2 components of your Aghanim Scepter at this point, 3 if you're I mean, obviously, if you're having a great time, it would be completed already as a support Night Stalker. But I mean, until they get that Aghanim Scepter, this vision is going to be rough. They're not really going to invest in a gem until I think they buy that Aghanim Scepter. So
Batrider actually just picked one up.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
I am completely wrong. That's not the first time that's happened, but that's okay.
I guess because it's going back into daytime again, and also the way EG just pressured so hard onto their side of the map, they just want to clear up the vision. They have Slark anyway, so he probably was like running around and was like, you know what, my ult keeps getting deactivated multiple times in our jungle. Like, we don't want to be playing under EG's vision. And now we do see EG smoke coming out. Blink Dagger finished on Universe. They do use the Moonlight Shadow to walk in.
This could be a big fight. Newly minted Blink Dagger, like you just mentioned, for Universe. This is going to be big.
They've got the Hawk.
Oh, they see it.
They got the whole fight watching.
They find the Roaring Demons. They have Disruption. They don't get it off in time. The Stomp hits pretty much on everyone. Here's the Earth Splitter. And XZ does disrupt himself in time, but still so low and will fall to fear. Finds himself a double kill and a dominating spree as well. TP out from that Slark. It's just they can't seem to bring that hero down, but he's the only one. As the BKB is out for Inflame now, he is in trouble. The Starstorm, the Magic Missile, the Wave of Terror, and he is done. Triple kill for Fear, and that is a huge engagement. Smoke super successful for the squad of EG.
Fresh gem. Thank you. Oh, it's Universes now.
Oh god.
So that says it, you know, a gold change of 2,000 to EG and 1,300 minus to CDEC.Y, but it's actually more like a 5,000 plus change, all going to the side of EG because gem counts for a lot of money. CDEC isn't going to be able to, or for 900 obviously, but it also gives them a lot of map control. CDEC.Y isn't able to pick it up for another 8 minutes as well, which is extremely detrimental to their entire idea of the game. That is actually the best possible play that could happen for EG in the game. They force 2 BKBs, the 4 people die anyway, everything just goes in their favor there.
I mean, that's like one of the most tilting things that can happen to a team. Like, not only, like you said, the gem goes down and you lose 2 10-second BKB charges. I mean, they were pretty much useless in that fight. CDEC.Y, now the Slark, his progression's been stifled a bit. Yes, he has 2,000 gold, but he's not having the impact maybe CDEC.Y would like, or it's just that and the DK. The DK doesn't feel like he's doing that much, and maybe it's just that they're not getting the engagements. Maybe it's that EG's getting fighting on their terms, and CDEC.Y, they're not really having that luck, but I don't know, the CK doesn't feel super useful either.
Yeah, I mean, they were doing quite well for a while, but it's just like one situation where EG has the vision advantage, which they should have in most of these engagements, it goes heavily into their favor. As soon as Universe gets that Blink Dagger, as soon as they're able to get a clean initiation on their terms, it's a completely different game.
And having that vision with the Hawk going into that bottom lane was gigantic for them. And now he's got the gem. He'll have his Necro 3 momentarily, as he already had picked up that Blink Dagger. He stopped off for it, and everyone from CDEC are just trying to find safe places to farm, get the Slark back up in good net worth. Of course, Demon's buying that Blink Dagger, obviously not helping. Should have a Force Staff, though, at the very least. Blink and Force for the Batrider. I'm not sure if that's actually the case. There is a Force Staff, however, on Zai, and he's doing very well. Level 2 Earth Splitter, level 3 Natural Order. And this is what you were talking about. When the Natural Order starts kicking in, then the Slark becomes nowhere near as strong as he once was.
Yeah, he at least has the BKB, but it doesn't help versus Natural Order at all, unfortunately. It just helps so you're not getting locked down in these heavy engagements from EG. But yeah, CDEC.Y looking to seize a little bit of opportunity here, get some aggressive wards out. They know that their side of the map is already heavily taken over, so they're trying to take an aggressive approach for themselves. Like we were mentioning, trying to get the fight on their terms rather than on EG's. So I like this approach by CDEC.Y here, stepping up.
They get some wards down, but for EG, I mean, they knew something was up. Whether they saw the smoke happening or what, they knew that there was something amiss coming out from CDEC.Y's side. And so EG, knowing that Roche might be up, they'll head over there. They have a gem. They will deward everything they find on their way. So that's the unfortunate thing for CDEC.Y is that they put all these wards down, but they might just lose them, like, minutes after.
Yeah, it was really nice, like you mentioned, from EG to identify this is the place where we can die for a small period of time. Let's just chill back for a bit, wait till we get more information on the map. As soon as they see bottom wave pushing out, mid wave pushing in, or top wave pushing in, they know that CDEC is smoking or making a move. They recognize that, they hide, and then they go for uncontested Roshan.
Did they even use their Necro units there? I don't think they popped either of them. That died so quickly. It's hard to believe that they didn't use either of their Necro books. Man, that thing died within like 10 seconds.
Bench Beastmaster Lycan.
Yeah, I guess that's it. How do you fight into that damage, even against Roche? Like, that's without the Necro units. They get another Aegis, I believe was on Fear that picked it up. It's very difficult for CDEC.Y to find anything at this point. They have to fight on their terms, but with the vision advantage that EG have, it's nigh impossible at this point. They're even going to use the Moonlight Shadow. There's going to be a jump on mid right now as the Slark's getting caught right now, taking a lot of damage coming out. Universe did go for Aurora and almost got the solo kill. A BKB forced the axes.
Oh my goodness.
The physical damage gets the kill for Universe. He does solo kill that Slark from 100 to death. Universe gets that Blink Roar Necro 3 combination, and the Slark doesn't stand a chance. That's
speechless.
I mean, that shouldn't happen. Maybe. God, that's so.
I mean, the Slark's super far. He had to get him in the perfect spot. Nice BKB usage there, but he's going to get swapped back. Gets a nice stun on Fear.
I think he is taking a lot of damage. He's going to have to armor the toggle here, I think, he might be actually okay here. He looks like he will be able to survive as they don't want to dive that tier 3 tower. Another armlet toggle is successful, and he's able to avoid death from those wolves. So, luckily, he'll survive. If they lose him and they lose the DK, then all of a sudden this game is pretty much, I think, over at that point.
Yeah. EG has a small timing window right now to hit the high ground. Slark's dead. They have Roar up again pretty soon, honestly, after solo killing the Slark with it.
Lincoln Sphere broken. Sumail's newly minted Lincoln Sphere. Yeah, it's that build that you were talking about. Didn't go for the Shivas first, but in this game, I guess, against something like the Demonic Purge, against the Dragon Tail, against the Lasso, Lincoln Sphere is an all-time premium right now. It's very worth the amount of money you're investing.
Yeah, they actually did give the Aegis to Sumail, by the way. So he actually has it, and it gives you mana regen. You know, it's nice. It helps you push waves out harder. It helps you sustain. You don't have to go back to base. So Shiva's is more like straight up team fighty, I guess, while Lincoln's is you're just playing around. You don't really have to go for a straight up play right after you get it.
Yeah, it definitely allows you to farm a little bit more freely. It's like what you see with a Morphling. When you're a Morphling, you pick up a Lincoln Sphere, you could just start wave forming camps like crazy and just kind of do what you want. The Assault Cuirass has been picked up for the Lycan, so not only do they have a Blightstone, they also have Assault Cuirass. They have the Vlads for the extra armor. He's sitting currently on 26 armor for a Lycan. Not an Agi carry, but has plenty of armor to work with currently. So this is a pretty fantastic start in these first 30 minutes of the game for EG. And for CDEC.Y, they have to find a great lasso, and they have to really just hope that this Slark can do enough damage during a team fight. But yeah, it's so hard. They're so far behind now.
It's crazy, too. It's like the game has been super close. CDEC.Y has been putting up a lot of good skirmishes, good little battles, but then EG saw that one opportunity with the smoke, and then they're just riding with it right now. And you can tell it's 5,000 net worth was pretty much just because of that one smoke engagement.
Yep. Doing some damage during that fight down bottom, and now they'll push up. 1,600 gold in the bank for Sumail, the man with the bleached blonde hair. I mean, I'm not going to question his hairstyles, but right now he's playing pretty well on this Mirana, so I'll throw out an arrow, won't find anything. And Aim's going to come up. They have a gem.
He actually hit the bat with that.
I mean, he's going in. This is kind of a bit sketchy. He's able to pounce away. Arrow was successful in hitting the Bat Rider, so he wasn't able to initiate, even though maybe the Slark did want to go in.
Oof. EG looked very sketched out there, though. They did not hesitate whatsoever on the swap. Instantly swaps as soon as they get one of them gets pounced. Fear even pops his shapeshift, so they seem a little shaky going up onto this high ground here.
Yeah, they know, I think, if they make any massive, colossal mistakes in these fights, they're going to lose a lot of gold. Like, the net worth graph will swing wildly. Yep. They even get a Shadow Blade coming out for Inflame despite the gem still being available. Victoria, he got arrowed up. Now look at the damage up onto the Slark. He has to pounce away, and he will stay alive, but barely. He's going to have to wait for that Shadow Dance to kick in. Universe lassoed back, brought back in with the Firefly. Not doing enough damage
has no
just yet.
TP still.
And he's just walking back. You can see that blue dot in the top lane. He's hightailing it out of there. And that could have been the best chance for a fight for CDEC.Y. And right now, they're going to lose their range racks. Sumail will get pounced down again. Still has that Aegis. BKB will go for aim. But look at all of that damage coming out from the Necro units. The swap back comes in from the Vengeful Spirit. Sumail will get the job done. He's dead for 68. No buyback. I think he just purchased up his full item. Now Inflame comes in, wraps around, pops the BKB, looking for Sumail. Will get at least the Aegis, but no Elder Dragon form. Just came off cooldown. He's dead for 63. Also no buyback, and that should be the first game fogged.
Yeah, there's... You know, it's really hard to play versus EG's lineup because the amount of damage they have from the auras, but it's something that you can tell when there's a player who plays Slark a lot versus these type of lineups compared to someone who doesn't really, because of the way you use your pounces. In this situation, I guess he may have thought that he was just a bit tankier, but he pounces in. And a lot of the time when you see these like more experienced Slark players, you could say, they walk in and they wait with their pounce. They do Dark Pact damage and they use the pounce as a survivability thing. Because once you engage with your pounce, you're locked in if you don't have Shadow Dance up. So there, he didn't have pounce up, and he just gets bursted down right after the Shadow Dance. He gets swapped back in, eliminated quickly. maybe being a little bit harping on it a little bit too much because this game was very heavily EG favored after that one smoke, but some small mistakes can add up.
I think that was the case for CDEC.Y in this game, is that they had one or two engagements where they didn't lose that many heroes. They would lose one or two of their big cores or big heroes, and all of a sudden it would turn sour very quickly. But nonetheless, Fogged, EG looked like the EG of old. I mean, it's just one game, yes. I mean, we saw them obviously in the qualifiers, the run they had, but in this first game between CDEC.Y and EG on LAN, they look fantastic.
Yeah, had a bit of a shaky early game, but I do think that the overall consensus of what the plan was of their game was they got what they wanted out of this one.
So, well, with that, we are going to take a quick break here. Obviously, game number 2 is right around the corner. It is a best of 3, so CDEC.Y, obviously, they have another chance to bring this to an even series and get this to a full best of 3, and we'll wait and see if that's going to happen, or if EG actually 2-0 them. So we'll be right back here with, of course, the panel in just a moment.